I'm joined today in the studio by Sylvia Critcher. It's been a while since we've seen you, Sylvia, because you've been a really busy girl.
A little bit.
So you're going to talk to us today about this book
hope
that
so.
you've produced.
I hope so, yes.
Well done, you. Contains 10 projects.
10 projects.
One of which is this lovely quilt.
This is the quilt, yes, and there are 9 separate patterns in here. This is a whole cloth sampler quilt. So I thought it would be quite nice to actually have, well, it's 9 patterns to start with.
Right.
So you've actually probably got 19 plus projects in the book. Yes.
Well,
And we've got full-size patterns at the back. It's one thing I did insist on, because people do hate having to go out
and enlarge.
Have them enlarged, and they can't always get it done properly.
No.
So I did say, if we're going to do this book, please can we have full-size patterns, which you have in the back in a little separate envelope.
In the
back.
separate envelope.
Yes, in the back.
Brilliant. Yes.
Look, tucked away.
Wow.
Beautifully.
Yeah. Well done, you. And I'm actually standing in front of another lovely project, which is a table runner.
Table runner, yes. Inspiration for that particular piece. You know, we always have this junk mail comes through the mail.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And we have to look at it, don't we? We don't actually just throw it away.
No.
And then thumbing through, it was a magazine from, way back. And I keep things that I quite like that might be inspirational. It was a doormat. So the shape, it was the shape I liked. So I used the actual outline shape to start the design for that particular piece, because I thought I don't want it just a square-ended one or just points. On this particular one, let's make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, it's got an interesting
So we've got the
ends
curved
to it.
ends, and that links through with the design.
Brilliant. And here on the table in front, lots more.
Lots more, lots to
more
see,
stuff.
lots to do, hopefully. This one here, this is either a wall hanging, you can use it as a wall hanging. This was inspired with Egyptian, we have an Egyptian mood board page to show you in a little while, and that particular piece comes from the back here with mummified cats. I saw a mummified cat in a museum once, and I loved the crisscrossing of the bandaging that they did.
Okay.
So I drew it out and thought, one day
that would be
and we
useful.
keep things for a long time, don't we?
Yeah, well, it's
and so
amazing.
this I've called Celtic Lotus, because it has this sort of feel of sort of lotus flower heads, and it's slightly Egyptian, but you can either have it as a cot quilt or you can have it as a wall hanging.
Very nice.
There.
Very nice.
This is the beginnings in the book, this first stages of how to, because everything that I've show you on here links to everything else that you see on what I've got. The design changes, the colours change, or using coloured threads as opposed to using the cream threads. And this is the key to everything.
And you're going to do a lovely little workshop for us on the how-to,
Yes, I hope so.
Fantastic.
So it starts off with a pincushion, and then you can build up slowly. This was the needle case.
Yeah.
I'm now using a coloured fabric for the background, but you must be careful not to use a very dark colour or you won't get your drop shadow effect. So nice little needle case and little, just basically tied up. Bit of quilting on the back. But of course, if you make a needle case, we always want something else to go with it. So I've made a pincushion for a change to go with it.
Oh, a needle case.
And a little scissor keeper.
Scissor keeper.
This is a scissor keeper.
Yes,
this is
of
your
course.
needle case.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you change the fabric from the design, it looks different. So I then decided I would make a whole set using the silk. So we've got the needle case here. There's the pincushion, and this is a pack of shaded silks. Here's the scissor keeper, and this is a little wedding ring pillow. So it's a nice gift if you've got somebody in your family getting married.
Good. I love the bling. Are they sewn on or stuck on?
No, these are, some of them are stuck on with the applique glue that is specific for the rhinestones. And it's once after 24 hours, it dries, it cures, it's washable.
Brilliant.
And some of them are actually put on with a little gizmo that you have now, which is a hot fix tool. So some of these are hot fix, some of these are cold fix on here.
Super.
So you've got a variety. And I do mention that. I do a whole passage in the book about different embellishments and how you can embellish either stick or stitch on there.
Yeah, we've got a lot of choice these days, haven't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
too much choice sometimes. A little bag. This is my version. Well, you probably don't remember. But in the 50s, bucket bags were very, very popular, and I had aunties who all had these lovely bucket bags. They were in plastic, and they were bright red or black or white, embossed with different rivets around the side.
Oh, okay.
And I can remember they just cherished these because obviously it was after the wartime, and so after all the austerity, they actually had the chance to do something else. And I've always had that in the back of my mind. So this is my modern version of the bucket bag. So I've actually got a little base in here as well.
Oh,
And then I've embellished it with buttons, and I've done the pattern so that it actually continues all the way round. Lined it with a very pretty fabric, covered my buttons for closure. So you can take that out for the evening, pop your bits and pieces in. It's a bit big for your mobile phone, but we always take too much. You could put your makeup bag in there as well.
Very nice.
Or a smaller
Baby
version.
version here.
And I've used black on here and gold for the quilting. And this little antique button, and I happen to have some black and gold fabric. So
Interesting gold thread you've got here. Is it sort of specific for hand quilting? Or
no,
not?
it's a machine thread.
Okay.
And this particular machine thread is brilliant because it doesn't shred in your needle.
Oh, yeah,
There's so
that's
many of them.
always
You
a
do 3 or
problem.
4 stitches,
Yeah.
and if you're not careful,
Okay.
you're just throwing it across the room because
That's
you're
really
fed up with it.
irritating,
Yes.
isn't it? Yes,
But this
it
one, you
is.
can do lots and lots of stitching. I have done one quilt, not one that I have with me today, but all of the quilting is done with metallic.
Wow. Oh,
So that was a test
Good.
if it worked or not.
yeah.
Then you can
And then
move
here?
on. This is a cushion. So with this particular one here, I've got in the background here, I've done the stippling. I love
Yeah.
hand stippling.
This is
If you're
lovely.
an embroidery lady, it's called seeding.
Okay.
As soon as you become a quilter, it becomes stippling.
Oh, does it?
It's one of those funny things. And I use it a lot. I use it either in single,
That's quite intense,
tiny,
isn't
yes.
it? Which really pulls
this part
that
here,
fabric down.
I actually stitched this on the train going from London up to Scotland. So I know this particular piece took me 3.5 hours to stitch because you have to think before you put your stitch
Yes,
down.
yeah.
But some of them are not as intense as that. I use it as well with a larger stitch. I've used it on this particular one. I've got the larger version in the single. On the one on the background behind us, I've done a double version of it, but I love it because it gives a totally different texture.
Doesn't
And I
it?
think you need texture when you're
Yeah.
using the self colour. And I've
Definitely.
embellished with pearls and knotting as well because knotting's
little
traditional.
tufty bits.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
traditional
knots.
technique.
Super.
And the design is sort of based on a paisley design.
It's very lovely. Okay.
This one here, which we've got underneath,
Oh, yes.
this one is also a project in the book. This is the Blue Dahlia project, and it shows, you can use just a centre and then add a block around it, so you don't have to commit yourself like you do the quilt at the back. Each block is made up with using the 3D corded and
Right.
stuff technique. Here, I've just used it in a specific area, added a bit of embellishment, and then added blocks of patchwork to it to give
this,
a change.
And this becomes very portable, doesn't it,
Yes.
when it's
Oh,
only
yes.
small like
Yes,
this?
exactly.
Very
Yeah.
portable.
This one I made up and did the whole piece as a whole, when it was eventually finished, as a whole piece, and then put the wadding on and then backed it. The one behind me, I did as quilt as you go.
I was going to say, I know you love quilt as you
Yes,
go
I
as
do
a
both.
technique.
Yes, I do both
Yes.
ways. But that worked very well because each one could then be carried with you,
Yes.
taken around,
And
worked
completed.
on. Or you've got 9 cushions there
Yeah.
if you want
Oh,
a cushion
right.
pattern.
Yeah.
You could take any one of those and have it as a repeat pattern across the piece as well
Definitely.
if you wanted.
Definitely, if you fall in love with one
Exactly,
particular one, as
exactly.
you obviously have here. So that's it. And this one, oh, here's your stippling again.
Yes, there's the
Different sort of
double. Yes,
stippling.
double.
Double.
Double stipple.
That's
Big
interesting.
double stipple on here. And this is one of the
Like
ones, I have a new cushion pattern called Wild Rose, which again is linked to the book. And there's a section in the book talking about using stencils. We would say we all have stencils, we put them back in the cupboard, used once. I've taken the stencil and played around with it and done different things. This is also the same stencil, looked at in a slightly different way, but again, a little wedding ring pillow. I'm always asked for wedding ring pillows.
4 little hearts
Four
in the
little
middle
hearts
there.
in the
Look
middle,
how sweet
yeah.
that is.
And then these are like
Yes.
almost fleur-de-lis patterns around the
Yes.
edge.
Yeah.
And this one, again, I've done that as a middle piece and then added some patchwork, just some
Yeah.
basic strippy.
I was going to say simple patchwork,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
No,
but
it doesn't have to be
simple.
complicated,
No, it doesn't,
but it's
does
nice
it?
rather than just having a plain
Yeah.
edge to it, just to
Yes.
give a little bit
No.
of extra
Yeah.
to it.
And all the instructions are in the book.
All instructions in the book, step by step.
Fantastic.
All the patterns are in full size. And there's, let's say, an area on the stitching. There's an area on stitches that I
Brilliant.
use, threads to use, fabrics to use. It starts, it's almost like I suppose it's my Bible, really, for
I
you.
was going to say very, very comprehensive,
Yes.
which is typical of you and your workshop. So thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Sylvia.
Thank you.